cut from me, and welcome to the Backwoodsman Institute. Well, what I'm working on here is, believe it or not, I'm actually pickling Jerusalem artichokes. If you remember this summer, I did a video on the Jerusalem artichoke and when it was in my garden and what it looked like. Well, here it is, the middle of February, and I pretty well, spring's just around the corner. So it's going to start warming up, and then the things are going to start growing. You can keep the Jerusalem artichokes in the ground all winter, but once they start growing, they're really not any good anymore. So you really want to harvest them before that point comes. So I went up through my garden yesterday and dug up what I guess is all my Jerusalem artichoke, and I cleaned up enough to fill up one batch of a canner, which is 7 jars. And what I did, I just cut them, cleaned them and cut them and put them in bite-sized pieces. And I just took whatever kind of leftover pickle mixes I had for this summer, which I'm just going ahead and use up one of these old ones, which is a dill pickle. So I got the dill pickle stuff starting to work here. I'm going to mix my packet in there and get that ready to dissolve and just pick them just like I would normal pickles. Like I said, I'm just playing around. I got it excess. Instead of, they don't really, let me turn this down a little bit. Jerusalem artichokes they don't keep very well once you pull them out of the ground. So really there's a few ways to do it. Either going to have to pickle them or freeze them. I've never tried to can them. One of these days I will. Right now I'm just experimenting, trying different types of pickle mixes and to see how that works. So let me fix up the rest of this stuff and get my jars all ready to go. I'll get back with you guys. Okay, I had just enough of dill pickle mix to make 5 jars. So what I'm going to do is, this is 7 jar, boiler. Instead of having just, 5 jars in there rattling around, I got a couple jars with just nothing in it but water that I use in my canners and my boilers as fillers. So I'm going to go ahead and just put them in there, and that way I got a full basket in there and they don't rattle around. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lids on and go ahead and boil this batch, and then get maybe 7 more jars ready to go and try a different concoction of pickle mix. So that'd be the 5 jars with the dill pickle mix put on it. Now I'm mixing up one with a Polish dill pickle. Try that one out. these all go ahead and cool off tonight, and make sure that the lids are all sealed down before I take the rings off, and then we'll go ahead and I have to just sample one and see what it tastes like. Okay, it's been a couple days and they're all cooled off obviously, and it looks like they've all sealed good. Can't put any pressure on the lids, so it looks like they're sucked down on there. Go ahead and take my rings off and put my dates on. Should be good to go then. When I'm canning and I don't have a jar that quite seals properly, I'll go ahead and remove the metal lid and put on one of these plastic lids they got for these jars and put it in the refrigerator, and that's the first one I'll be eating on. These plastic lids, you can buy them, you know, same place you buy your canning jars and your lids. They're actually made for the jars whenever you put stuff in and freeze it, because the jars can not only be canned in a pressure cooker or a boil canner, but you can also put stuff in a freezer with them. And they also work pretty good if you're dehydrating stuff and you want to store it in a container. I'll go ahead and put it in a jar and put a plastic lid on it. So since I don't have any that didn't seal, I have to try it, sample my concoction, a recipe so to speak. So let's just see what that. I think that'll work. Might even get better with it, with a little bit of after they set for a few weeks in there. But yeah, that worked for me. Like I said, it's just one good way of, you know, taking care of some of the excess that you got. Experiment with it. I mean, technically I don't have a whole lot invested in it other than some vinegar and some old packets of some pickling mixes that I had left over from the summer. So I think it worked. Pickled Jerusalem Artichoke. Catch you out in the woods.